facilitate. Okay, perfect. Oh, I'm just going to share my screen. Great. So thank you so much for coming and joining us today. My name is Grachella Garcia, and I believe I know most of you. And we do have we're expecting about 40 people, but I'm not sure if we're going to get there today. So now topic of our roundtable today is improving student engagement in our teams and our programs. So there's been a series of June webinars, and this is our fourth one and the last one for the summer until we go back into the fall. But what I really wanted to do here is get engagement and get, it's a roundtable breakout rooms that we're gonna do today to get thoughts of and ideas from other universities and colleges that we have here today. So this is actually from one of our past CLT member rep, Tanya. She wrote a paper on student engagement. And what I wanted to just highlight here is that it is based on the amount of time and effort that students put into their studies and activities that lead to the experiences and outcomes that help with their student successes. So I think we all know and we believe ourselves that, you know, we do make a lot of impact and influences, and we're able to empower students, whether they participate as in our programs or if they work within our areas. And then the other one is, how do we as organizations allocate our human resources or financial resources or facilities so that we can organize learning opportunities and services to encourage our students to participate and benefit from our activities. Sorry, I just have to go back. I did forget that to tell you, let you know that it is being recorded, and as well that this session will be available on the YouTube channel afterwards. Probably a couple of days after. Sorry, I forgot about housekeeping rules. Sorry. Perfect. So I wanted to break it up within two areas. So engagement in our teams. So what are opportunities that we do provide to our students within our organizations? And then the other part is engagement in our programs. So, I mean, we all know that we can provide different values and benefits for students that do participate or do belong to our teams. So social skills, experiences, sense of belonging, impact, right? And experiential learning. Just a big, I guess, question around what's other things that, you know, what are some other values and benefits do you feel that we could provide to students if they're working for us that I haven't mentioned here? You can put in the chat, or you can also just unmute yourself.
Sorry, I don't know if you missed it, or if you covered it, but leadership would be a big thing. So the ability to get those leadership skills and put it on your resume.
That's perfect. Yes, thank you. Sorry, I am trying to manage the chat as well. Networking opportunities. Thank you, Louis. Anything else that we missed? We'll have opportunity to also share in our breakout rooms. Great. And then the other piece I did have there is that for organization, it benefits us to have students in many different ways, right? It provides our full-time staff mentorship. So a lot of times, not all our full-time staff has ability to supervise other full-time employees, but they do have a great opportunity to supervise students. And then that provides them a chance to be able to be mentors to students as well as supervisors, right? And then it also provides us that opportunity to have students represent us, right, to students. So these are people that can help facilitate our programming or can be a part of our committees. So they're the ones that are actually going to participate in programs. It's good to have them out on the field or on the floor or in all of our services. And they also are a great resource for us, whether that be surveys, ideas, right? And as employees. My computer is going crazy on me today. And then what I wanted to go over today too is just some opportunities that we have in our team. So this is not just us as a CCR, but I'm sure all of the different pieces that we have in our organization. So we have volunteer opportunities, whether that be events or on committees. And then we have paid positions as well, and that is either intramural areas or customer service or fitness. We have research opportunities. So what happens for campus community recreation in the University of Alberta, we've had the opportunity to be in a faculty for a bit. We're not in it anymore, but we were, and then we partnered with some grad students that wants to do research with us, and we become their practice to their theory. Right, so those are great. And then we also have practicum opportunities. So one of the things that we've done this year, in the past few years, I guess, is we had worked really closely with a course called Introduction to Sports Management. And they have added an opportunity for CCR to provide practicum opportunities. So the students can either do a practicum or a project, and that's like a 10-hour practicum that they can do in our intramural events. So that gives us more opportunities to actually have practicum students, and then they actually apply because they like it so much, they apply to be full-time employees afterwards. And we also have internships. Sometimes when we have a little bit of extra financial resource, we would provide an internship to a new graduate as well. Can anyone just quickly share maybe what other things they've had created in their organizations or campus recreation departments for opportunities for students?
For us, working with KIN has been a big one, or sport management, being able to, offer tournaments or just specific initiatives that they can kind of run through and see the whole kind of start to finish has been nice. And then it also gives us some support for free.
That's great. Yeah, I really do like the opportunity. Yes, Sandra.
Thanks, Grachella. Yeah, certainly we've developed a lot more partnerships on campus since COVID, but prior to that, when I think now it's much more common knowledge, the role that recreation plays on campus besides just sport and fitness. So we've partnered with our mental health outreach office and offering programming through our student counseling center. And this is also in partnership with some research done in kinesiology. We have a program called You Win, You Work It Out. Students that are either waiting for counseling through our student counseling office and or have been identified with mild anxiety stress, they're recommended to join this program. And in this program, it's personalized exercise training. They meet with another student as well as a grad student that helps to work on some of the behavior change around exercise and anxiety. But they meet with them on a weekly basis, one-on-one, going through an exercise routine. And over the course of the 10-12 weeks, they develop hopefully the behaviors and understanding of how to exercise and how to use exercise as a means of addressing their anxiety. And then at that point in time, they can either move into the larger fitness group environment or continue on with a one-on-one trainer, but there's no cost to the students for doing this. So that's one partnership. Certainly we've worked with resident services, our leadership office. So again, on campus, we've recognized that all of us are doing some sort of training with our student staff on many of the same components. So now in January, we have a program called Boost, where we're boosting our skills of our student staff across campus, and we collectively come together with campus providers to provide workshops on some of the basic necessities of leadership and work-related career skills. And that's been relatively successful. We usually get a few hundred students out for the weekend event. Unfortunately, we moved into virtual platform this past year. And then as well, we have, in partnership with the leadership office, created a leadership conference that's organized by the students for the students. And they play a role in pulling together the presenters, the content, the schedule, and they pretty much just voice their experiences in leadership development while at the University of Windsor.
Great.
Thanks so much, Sandra. Those are great opportunities and partnerships. Thanks for sharing that. And then the next one I wanted to go over today as well in our breakout rooms is just recruitment strategies. And so Sandra mentioned a few of those partnerships. So, what events have you done in the past to recruit? What other partnerships have you done with? And then have you thought about incentives, right, to the staff or to just for retention and recruitment? So those things I wanted to definitely discuss. So for us and at CCR, we've done a few kind of, I guess, job fairs, as we call it, just for campus community recreation. And I might put Alberto on the spot here as he's here, and because he's taking a lead on it quite a few times, but maybe Alberto could just share a couple of things about the job fair that we've done in the past.
Sure. Well, we call it a job expo.
Job
so
expo, yes.
A little more informational, as opposed to, we just felt like job fair connotates like you have to come in and show up with your resume and interview on the spot kind of thing. So yeah, it's more of an outreach opportunity. So we kind of combine it with our general hiring period, where we post as many of our positions as we can at the same time, usually around February. And then the job expo is like a traveling expo. So we'll set up shop for a couple of days in our student union building, a couple of days in residence buildings. And then we try and get outreach to different areas and faculties like central academic building or engineering, just kind of like it's more of a promotional tool more than anything, just to get students aware of that we're an employer on campus, that we have these jobs. And we usually get supervisors from different areas to be present on different days and different locations, and we advertise that ahead of time. So if you're at all curious about working in our climbing center, well, Lloyd, our climbing center supervisor, will be at the engineering building Wednesday, Thursday. Go and have a chat with him, kind of deal. While we were virtual this year, we did it online. So we actually we did a full week of lunchtime presentations. So different areas partnered up and put on presentations about their area, and students could come and watch and ask questions, and we recorded them and posted them. So that's sort of what we did this year.
Great, thank you. Did someone else from a different school want to share one event they ran, or what recruitment strategy they use?
We've also, sorry, go ahead, Megan.
Go ahead, Megan. Yeah.
No, that's okay. Yeah, you can tell when people unmute themselves.
Yeah.
No, so in the past, we've actually at Brock, a lot of different units or departments hire at the same time. And so we've partnered with them, and we'll put on, one big kind of job fair, job expo. And so did that virtually this year as well. And the bonus of partnering kind of across different departments too reaches then those students that typically then may not see our advertising like in our building, or as Alberto said, like visiting and reaching out to then being the students union or engineering, like you said. There's gets it out there. And then also we'll have students, so like in the summer where there's not as many employment opportunities, but then those students may do like what we call Smart Start, so introducing our first year students. And so then there's that, along with kind of the networking opportunity, there's that opportunity then for their students to get different experience and then still have their job or kind of find out about other things that they can get involved in.
Thank you so much. And Jenna, did you want to quickly share?
Well, I was going to say, we've done the job fairs this year with kind of how everything's landed and, realizing we're a bit stuck for staff. We're actually going to do a mass email to all students and just kind of share all of the opportunities, because then even some of the people that we might have never seen before, while we want them to have experience in our facilities or know about our programs, it could find kind of some diamonds in the rough. So it could get us a lot of applicants and a lot of time going through resumes, but it might be a really great opportunity just for us to reach new people.
Great, thank you. That's great. And then I wanted to then move in quickly before we breakout room, just about student engagement in our programs. And it is, I'm sure hopefully that all of you have seen the new NIRSA framework that was created. I did add it as a resource at the end of here, where like as you see my pictures right now, there's different things that they had highlighted. So academic success, right? Belonging, inclusion, well-being, retention, leadership development, and physical health. So these are our impact and our values as CCR or campus, or as campus recreation professionals organizations. And NIRSA has done a really great job on creating picture slides. So please, I mean, we've used them for our reports. This is a really great resource for us to just share who we are and what we do and what impact do we have on our students on campus. And then the other one I wanted to touch base on today in our breakout room is just types of promotions, marketing, and partnerships. You've all mentioned, like Sandra had mentioned, that they partner with quite a bit of different areas on campus, and so do we. Like we partner with Dean of Students is an easy one, residences. One of the things that we've tried to work hard on, and it sometimes is really difficult, is like those partnerships like with residences or with international students. We partner with First People's House, especially during the Welcome to Campus events. And so one of the things that we're trying to do this year is just trying to identify all the different events going on in campus that we might not be involved in, and what type of involvement can we have, whether that be a donation or whether that be we have a booth. And so what level of involvement do we have that our resources can handle as well. So these are the things that I'd like us to discuss during our breakout rooms. Great. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do some breakout rooms. I'm going to upload on the chat here. What do you call it? I have some notes. I'm just going to stop share for a second. Stop share. Great. So I'm going to put on the chat. Yeah, my slides are getting stuck. Sorry. Jenna, sorry, this keeps getting getting stuck, but I'm going to put on the chat here 2 documents that I would like for you to take notes on as we do our breakout rooms. So then at least that was when we shared, we'll be sharing that to the attendees, and also we'll have shared that to our YouTube channel as well as the slide, because what's going to happen is that once we go into our breakout rooms, we're not going to be able to record those breakout rooms. So I'm going to just create the breakout rooms, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and create. Great, and so you at least have 3 people in each of your rooms, and so I'm going to open those now, and then I will share the link here as well. Thank you.
Hi, Grachella.
Hi.
We couldn't click on the link. It just came up as a banner on the top. Can you maybe share it in this chat before you put us back?
Yes.
The breakout room?
Sorry about that. Okay,
Yeah.
it is on this chat already. Can you see that?
No.
Oh,
There.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have
Sorry
the
about
link now.
that.
Can you put us back into a breakout room?
I will. I'm so
Thank
sorry.
you. No worries at all. Thanks.
Sarah, how do I create a new breakout room if she left it?
At the bottom of the screen under the where it says breakout rooms, Lane, do you still see an option to join?
Oh, join breakout room. Yeah.
Yeah,
There we
you can
go.
still join
Yeah,
it.
so
Okay,
click back in
perfect.
there. Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah. And Grachella, did you say it looks like Angie in room 2 had a question? I don't know if you see that.
How do I see that?
Or
On
maybe
the
it's just
chat?
because I'm the host. I think
Yeah, I
it just
can't
said,
see.
so it says Angie from room 2 asked for help. So it says to join the breakout room. So can you, I don't know if you want to pop in there.
To which room?
Room 2.
Okay. Is there any way for you to share those links to everybody in the room as the host?
Oh, maybe if I broadcast the message? You did that, right? Then I'll try
Yeah,
it.
I
I'll
did,
try
but it didn't work. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Oh.
Okay, Jenna's asking for help too in room number 5. So I wonder if they can't click on that link.
Maybe, hold on. I will just, I'll share it with them.
Okay.
I'll share the, somebody from each room, maybe.
Do you want me to go to that room? And I can probably.
Yeah, and then I'll share it with, shoot. Alberto, Megan, wait. So Lane already got it, and then.
It's like Jenna requested help, is my guess.
I don't see those, okay.
Yeah, maybe it's just the host can see those.
So maybe for the next one, I'll just share it with everyone here first on the main chat. And
I
then
can
do
open
that.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll do that. That was breakout room 1. And then done. And then this is breakout room 2. Oops. And we only have, so I probably will bring them back in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
I think that would be fine. Okay. Okay, people are making notes, which is good. 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I did. Has anyone else kind of asked on?
I don't see any. Oops.
Okay.
No, I haven't seen any other things pop up.
I think you shared.
We just really want to hang out with you guys. We're back.
This time I put everything in the chat for the second breakout room before everybody leaves.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. Yeah, it didn't seem like there was a lot of people populating the Google Docs.
Yeah. I'm not sure if people were able to, but we'll get a couple seconds. I'll have them kind of share. We'll take a couple minutes to share some thoughts on each of the topics once everyone's back.
Sounds good.
Great. I think everyone's back. I would like to apologize as I thought that as I shared the Google Docs that everybody would be able to do that. And so I don't know if everybody I did try sharing it onto your own emails as I found some of your emails. I couldn't find, Louis, I couldn't find your email, so I wasn't able to share that with you, but I will make sure that I will do that today. So I would just like to quickly go over one thought. So one challenge, one barrier. So if your room can share one challenge or a barrier that you've had in recruiting students in your team. So we'll take about 30 seconds for each team or each room. That would be great. So room one can go first. Anyone from? Hi.
Yeah, sorry. Hi.
That's okay. How's fine.
So we were one of those who could not find the link.
Oh,
we were trying
okay.
to type it as best as we could. So we just
that's okay.
Things that we did throughout the year. But a barrier this past year for us, I'm from the University of Toronto, Mississauga campus. I work within their athletic department. A big barrier for us this year was budget. So we on any student staff this year, which was a huge change to everybody. So we were all the front facing of all of our programs.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that was a huge challenge and barrier. And in that itself, we lose that connection that we have built with students over the years that we're with our personal trainers to our intramural staff. So now that we're coming back to campus or planning to come back to campus for the fall, that whole new recruiting now changes, right? So that's been a huge, huge barrier for us. And some of our students have gone on and graduated, right? So they didn't have the chance to kind of give that leadership opportunity to the newer staff that would come on board. So
right. Definitely quite a challenge because it's such a great opportunity to be able to provide that mentorship, right? So great. Room two. Any barriers? I don't know who that was. Okay. I will move on to what challenge. So we have room three is that recruitment and promotion strategies have you implementing recruit student staffing. So I did see there that people had put academic courses, resident students, or dons, or I guess advisors. Was there one more thing that you wanted to share from room three?
One thing I don't think we put up there was we go to intramural participants and try and recruit, especially for referee roles. I know we used to use a tagline like, "Oh, you don't like your refereeing? Do you think you can do better? Well, come and do it."
I like that. Great. Room four. Anyone from room four want to share? Yeah. Hi, Allison.
Hi, I can share. We
Yeah.
also weren't able to access the documents, so I might talk more about barriers since that's what
That's okay. Yeah, go
talked
ahead
about.
for sure.
So yeah, we talked a little bit about how one of the trends that we noticed was that it tended to be our employees that were actually more engaged in the virtual fitness throughout this past year. Which, I mean, it's great to have some people engaged, but just kind of recognizing that maybe for students, the main appeal to doing fitness on campus is A, the social aspect, and B, the convenience of being able to do it in between their classes.
Right.
And how we can kind of move from that going forward and hopefully getting those students back as we transition to in person and that sort of thing again.
Right.
Yeah, we talked about that. And then we also talked about, I'm coming from a slightly smaller school with one facility, one weight room, one gym, and just not being able to get prime gym time. So looking at that going into the fall in terms of recruiting students when they're most available and wanting to attend programming.
Yeah, for sure. Trying to create some creative opportunities, maybe, right?
Yeah.
So, thank you. Good. And then maybe just one last share so we can move on. I will go maybe to, if anyone can share, like, what does your team for team training or team building or development that you would like to share that you feel has been really successful? That, I believe that was room 6.
Yes, we talked about that. Myself and, oh, I can't find her on here, Masa, I think, a student from Ryerson. I would basically just general, she's only been a student at Ryerson for the last year, so was only aware of their like virtual training for the instructors, some group chats and online support that they did this year. Similar to what we do at UBCO, they run student staff socials, and they let the students kind of help facilitate their own socials. We both campuses have like student lead positions where they get a little bit more responsibility and a little bit more mentorship. But I know at UBCO, one of my goals is to have a little bit more of a robust like training for those students who are taking on that leadership role. So yeah, hoping we can kind of chat about what some other campuses are doing like for those students that we're identifying as our more kind of significant student leaders, and how to kind of give them a little bit more of a meaningful leadership experience. Also, like to all of our staff, of course, but just that little bit extra for those are kind of our superstars that are taking on those lead roles.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, because apart from the like regular staff training, we do like rec-wide training, and we actually include athletics as well, like many of you do, and then just like specific like job training, but not a lot of like general student leadership training. So looking at how we can expand that a little more.
Great, thank you. Thank you for that. So I'd like to move into a second breakout room, but what we'll do here is I will talk to Sarah and just get a list of the attendees in this session, and to make sure that you get access to the Google Doc. And it's something that we can continue to populate as we all have different ideas, definitely on each of the areas that we're talking about now. Great. And then so what I did put the breakout chat on the main chat for everyone already for improving student engagement in our programs. So the things that I did want us to talk about is the same thing. So what are challenges and barriers to get student in programs? For us, like, an example would definitely then budget or just space, right? We just don't have the space. And then making sure that what marketing promotions have you done before? Something different. What does the organization share? How do you share your stories or your values of what we do? And then who have your organizations partnered with in the past? Students, residences, and what type of partnership have you done with them? So I will create some new breakout rooms so that we have different people in the room. Just before you do though, please do click on the document on the main chat. Is there any questions before I do the breakout room? No. Great.
Grachella, I don't see the Google Docs in the main chat.
Okay, I will post it again here.
There we go. I see it from Sarah.
Okay, there it is again. Okay, great. Thank you.
Problem.
Perfect. I'm opening all the rooms. Sarah, is there a way to share, like there's going to be an attendance list, right? And then we can just maybe
Yeah.
email that to everyone. Okay, thank you.
Yep, so once this is over, I'll pull a participant who actually
Okay.
participated in it. Yeah, and so I can just add them to that Google Doc.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Yep.
Because then they can continue to populate it. And then this is sitting definitely in my own drive, but it's something that we can have sit somewhere else if you wish,
Sure.
as a resource for everyone. You always think like you have all your technologies down path because you've been doing it forever, but
There's always something, right?
I'm like, what is going on now? Like I've done this many times.
I know. I think back to like March of 2020 and just like, we've been using Zoom and all that stuff. And it's like, oh my.
I know. And then you think like, and then there's so many different things that come up now with like meetings, Google Chat, all that kind of stuff. So it's been so frustrating. Yeah. Looking, do you think you'll be back on campus?
Back in our building.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing a hybrid sort of model. Like some people are going to go back, some people are going to be fully remote. So I'm probably going to go back at least 1 or 2 days a week.
Yeah.
Starting
Okay.
later this summer. Yeah.
And so do you think that's gonna be the future though, like a hybrid?
Mhm.
Like who's
Yeah. I think so, definitely. I think a lot of industries and companies are going to that. So we've been pretty successful at working this way.
Yeah, I know. And then I think it just saves a lot of resources for people
Yes.
too.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break because
Yeah.
this is the last meeting and then this meeting and I gotta go.
Yeah, go
get my
ahead.
water.
Thank you, everyone. It looks like everyone's back, and thank you for participating today. And I will work with Sarah to get the document shared, and please do continue to populate some information in that. It is, I was talking to Jenna, it's a really a big topic to discuss, and only to have an hour, I find, is never enough for both of those topics to move forward to. We will try to work to maybe do two separate topics as we start to plan for our future events in the fall. Maybe we can offer another mini one if people are interested to discuss opportunities for recruitment for students or incentives for students to work in our organization. Would that be something, I think that, would that be something that people would be interested in before we start planning in September? Thoughts on that? Thanks, Allison. Great. Looks like there's some interest in that. So not to volunteer Jenna, but Jenna and I can work together to see what we can do to try to offer some kind of roundtable or even just sharing with people that are in this group right now. Good. So just to finish up, definitely just some resources that we do have there. I shared the resource for the campus recreation value framework that NIRSA had created. You can use it on posters and apply your own pictures into it if you want to as well. And then sharing just what we did for our area at University of Alberta. We try to do a report to the community at least every 2 years. Just to share our involvement, and we make sure that we send it to the faculty advisors and also the dean of students so that they know what impact we have and the value that we have for the students as well. And then I put the link there for the YouTube channel that we have for the NIRSA Canadian region that has a lot of the things that we do, not just fitness, but all of our recordings for our webinar series. So just last comments, some future initiatives, share what you have done before that we have an opportunity to share.
Grachella, in a couple, in the past two breakout rooms, I asked the question about EDI and what institutions are doing to possibly adjust policies and procedures around hiring so that they are equitable, diverse, and inclusive. And in our group, certainly that was something that is being addressed on some of our campuses, and trying to get the message across the entire campus of those job opportunities, and whether that's through job fairs or partnering with other campus departments. So I would be curious if there are any other initiatives on campuses around EDI relative to student hiring and recruitment.
Thank you, Sandra.
I
Do you have some?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So I'm at Ryerson University. Right now, we're in the process of developing strategies to try to recruit as broad and diverse a group as possible. So we've the department as a whole is working together in subcommittees to kind of find ways that we can do this. So we're trying to develop a kind of like outreach system. So for instance, like I'm in a subcommittee that has to do with recruitment. So we're developing like a database of different groups on campus that we will be actively reaching out to. And so it's in early stages right now, but the plan and the hope is to implement at least kind of a phase 1 for the fall, and then just to keep on working on expanding that database so that we are reaching out to more and more individuals on campus.
Great, thank you for sharing that. Evangelia, I think that's how you say them.
Perfect.
Alberto, raise your hand.
Yeah, I can share some of the stuff that we do, and I'll give Matt Edmonds credit because he was part of a lot of this stuff when we developed it. But when we do hiring, we get someone who's not going to be in the process to print off all resumes, blank out any mention of gender, ethnicity, name. So they get evaluated on paper with no designations of any kind. So you can't discriminate on anything. We have all our student staff who are going to be participating in the interviews. We bring in our EDI office to run an hour-long training seminar with all our student staff before they do interviews, so that they get kind of the heads up on what are good practices. We've gone into the habit of we send out the questions, the interview questions to all our applicants well ahead of time in case there are language barriers. We do an introductory set or like a quick intro to the interview where they get to ask questions or clarifications and specific words so that there's no confusion. We accommodate folks who English isn't their first language. Those are and we specifically have, when we evaluate resumes, diverse perspective is one of the categories we do include in there. And that could mean anything from like, oh, they come from a different faculty, or they bring in an experience that we don't typically see in a regular applicant. So those are some of the things we do.
Great. Thanks, Alberto.
To add to that, also at Ryerson, unconscious bias training. So I believe it's outsourced. I forget who specifically it is that comes in to do it. And right now it's been for full-time employees, but there is hope to also expand that to part-time employees. We now have Matt Edmonds with us, Alberta.
You do have a Matt Edmonds with you now.
So he has been working with all of us. We have been working on how we develop our interview questions, and we do supply training for all of our student staff who participate in it. So it's always a panel, it's never one-on-one. We also are working with our human resources department to develop interview questions where we're focusing on, we're looking at the difference between a skill that can be learned versus a skill that's like a true qualification that can't be learned. So we're reassessing our language in our interviews and in our job postings to ensure that, again, we're making a good differential between the two so that there's not an applicant thinking that potentially they cannot apply because they feel they're unqualified. So lots of work happening on that end right now too.
Great, thanks. Thank you so much for that. I know one of the things that we did maybe about a couple of years ago now, I think as well, is to put icons that represents various groups in our job postings. So those have been just to make sure that we try to encourage other groups of people to apply as well. Was there a last comment on that piece that we can share? Great, thank you so much. And then is there one more opportunity to share comments or initiatives, or if you have any other questions? So I can't see everyone, but I just want to make sure. And I do want to respect everyone's time if people have to go. If there's nothing else, I do just want to thank you. As I mentioned, that we don't have any more webinar right now scheduled for July, but we'd be happy to do a follow-up session on this one. I'd be happy to just host another discussion with less technology problems, hopefully, and then we will move forward from that. Great. If there's nothing else, so thank you so much to everyone for coming. I'd love to connect again. I know that we're all trying to do our hiring, and it's going to be a different landscape probably for most of us with not having everybody back on campus yet. And so how do we do that, as well as budget? Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.